All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Stack Hunters. And as you might be able to notice, I have a blast from the past. Mr. JD joined me again. Once again, the GOAT District is back in action. So this has been a special GOAT District takeover of the Stack Hunters, and we're really looking forward to this. We're going to be doing a draft, the Deep End Invitational, which starts in less than 1 minute. So I'm going to have 1 minute to put together everything you need to know about the draft. It is like a triflex on the FFPC, but best ball, not Dynasty. So this is all going to be best ball, but you get 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 regular flex, 1 super flex. So you can have 2 quarterbacks playing. So the quarterbacks are going to go fast tonight. Anything I'm missing, JD?
No, that's pretty much it. A bunch of heavy hitters in this room. I mean, I see Alan in here. I see Carpentier. Adam, I'm guessing that's Shope's sidekick. I see Dwayne,
Yep.
Which could be McFarland.
Yep, more than likely, yes.
Bitcoin's in there. Theo Greminger's in here. I mean, this is a loaded room and a loaded tournament, so it'll be fun. Be fun to tag team it.
And Cody is in here. All right. So we were talking pre-show about Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. What do you think?
I don't know about you, but one of these guys has been QB1 or QB2 points per game for the last 3 years, and I think it'd be a mistake to pass on him.
All right.
What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Hurts or Allen, either one is fine with me. I really don't have a strong opinion. I think there are both things that are weighing in their favor this year, and they both have some things that make you question just a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, I think these are the clear 2 choices. So we go in Hurts or Allen. Go ahead and give us a pick.
Let's do Allen. Let's stick with Allen to start this off.
Josh Allen it is. Never feel bad about starting with Josh Allen. And we do, as JD was talking about earlier, have some stacking possibilities with him later on in the draft. So that's always nice as well.
Yeah, the thing about, I watched last night, I know Shopes was on, shout out to Shopes for organizing this, and I believe Adam as well for organizing this tournament, the Invitational. I believe there's 5 divisions, if I remember correctly. But I know with the ship chasing guys last night, that the running backs were just being pushed down. Obviously, being triflex, you're starting 3 receivers. Obviously, the super flex aspect with the quarterback. So the tight end premium on the FFPC format. So a lot of things to consider, but also a lot of different ways to get creative.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so yeah, we've got just looking through the list of competitors. We have Alan Seslowski from RotoWire, our very own Bit Mandal, who's been on the GOAT District several times, probably at least 5. Cody Carpentier, Crino and Kelly, I don't know who that is. Dave Terpoli, who is runs the FFPC podcasts. Dwayne McFarland, of course. Mason Spain, well-known high-stakes player. Your very own Overhyped Goats. Roto Pat, that's got to be Pat Crane, I'm guessing. No,
I believe so.
Yeah. No, no, I think that might be Pat Doherty.
Yeah, because he was on last night. That's right.
Okay. Yep. And then, of course, our once and future Theo Greminger, who is with PlayerProfiler now, but once a member of the GOAT District as well. So we've got all the GOATs pretty much, except for Andrew here. So fun time tonight, and we'll see if we can't put the beat down on Theo.
Let's do it. Show him how it's done.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a fun room.
Yep, for sure. So, all right.
Go ahead. I was just going to point out, if I don't know if you guys put this on audio, but we've got five QBs right off the bat, up to Kyler Murray actually going off 4th ahead of Stroud and Anthony Richardson. He's been creeping up a lot in drafts, Dan?
Yeah, he definitely has. So a little bit of a surprise to see him here, but definitely not a surprise to see him in the first round. And I think, as it comes back around to us, We'll have some interesting decisions to make. We don't want to telegraph those too much, but
it's always interesting when we do these live drafts. I mean, we haven't done one in a while. We as you talked about, we did the GOAT District for many years, did a lot of live drafts, and it's always fun when you put guys in the queue and you're trying to discuss your options without saying them out loud when it's a live draft, especially something like this where, you know, so there's a few people that might have this on to see maybe which way we're going to go.
Yeah, I think that's quite possible. So yeah, I think we'll have some people trying to get us to telegraph our picks. So the
shout out to Rob. Shout out to Rob, the Hairy Snowman. I saw him on the screen there. Sorry, Dan.
Yes. Rob is out there, one of our faithful followers from way back. So appreciate him hanging out with us tonight. And so the first round is over. We have 8 quarterbacks out of 12 picks. So we had Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, then a brief interlude of wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, right back to the quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson, then a couple running backs, Christian McCaffrey and Breece Hall. And then leading off the second round, we're going to have Justin Jefferson and Bijan Robinson. So the elite 3 running backs are all off the board. There are still some very highly drafted wide receivers left on the board, and of course the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and we got to expect not too much value will fall in this draft. I mean, obviously because of all the different premiums, there will be some trickle down, but it's probably nothing too obvious anyways.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. And I'm just loading up a few players into the queue here, even though we're still a ways away. Okay, we'll see how many of those disappear. They're basically disappearing as fast as I can load them in. So that's always fun.
It's pretty much what happens.
Right, exactly.
You got to kind of look down the queue a bit.
Yep. Yeah, and in these Triflex drafts too, you know, the conventional wisdom is, you know, that you want to, you know, load up on those quarterbacks and then the wide receivers. But sometimes pushing down quarterback, you're going to see some teams push them down. You're going to see some teams just go ahead and get themselves set at quarterback. I think it's interesting. We have a very contrarian strategy going on at the 11 hole, Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. So despite the fact that this format requires at least 3 wide receivers and it's usually a good idea to have a couple of quarterbacks, Adam has gone with 2 running backs. So that'll be fun. See how he builds out.
Dan, we've had how many of the back end of the drafts in the mains that we've done, the fantasy pros that we've done, the BBTs that we've done. So you got to get creative instead of just chasing positions. You kind of get ahead of the game. So I think that's a smart move by Adam and even Dwayne at the end there with Breece and Jefferson.
Yep, exactly. Because that sets him up. I mean, you know, Adam's got 2 of the 3 best running backs, you know, at least so we think, as we're drafting today. And then Dwayne has the other one, plus Justin Jefferson, who, you know, has gone as high as the 101 in the past. So it's a good way to attack it. They're not trying to chase a quarterback, I guess, is the most important thing. So everybody more towards the front end of so the top 10 all have their quarterback now, and Bip has Stroud and Prescott, so he's got a second quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to talk, you know, without pointing out things that haven't been taken off the board yet. So I'll wait till we're on the clock here in about 3 more picks.
All right, sounds good. You got any players you want to load into the queue?
Yeah, this is kind of what I was going to mention. I won't say why. This guy's definitely interesting. Otherwise, I mean, if any of them that you've put in are left, that's always an option.
Yep.
Otherwise, I mean, you know, our usual I just threw him in there. I could see someone else wanting that last one. Yeah, so Purdy was the one I was mentioning, just because of the news today with Ayuk. I mean, I've been kind of drafting as if he was staying in San Fran, just because it seemed like the longer it was going to go, the more he was going to stay. But so we're on deck now. Garrett Wilson goes off. Marvin Harrison. Let's see who. So Dave stacks AJ with.
Yep, of course.
What are you thinking here, Dan? Do we want number 2 at all, or are we gonna? You think we stay away for a bit?
I think we grab a couple position players here, and
I'm fine with that.
Okay, I just put one more in the queue. So we have 5 players in the queue. Do you have 5 showing in yours?
Yeah, I just refreshed it because I know in the past you've talked to me, and I'm just waiting.
Who do you like? I think number 4 should definitely be one of our picks.
Yeah, I think we could probably throw him in first, just when the time, just to buy us a little more time on that second one.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I mean, there's one guy at a certain position, but he's questionable, so that's a little tough. I feel like unless we reach, I don't know that I want to double tap on that position though.
Right. What about the 4th player in the queue? You have any interest in him?
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah. It's probably
number 2, or you want to stay away from 2, right?
We don't have to. I mean, if you feel like that's the best value here, then let's go ahead and take him.
I feel like it is, and then it allows us to take value that's being pushed later.
Okay.
I just feel like if we double tap on tight end here, we'll get in trouble.
Yeah, that's possible. So, okay.
You good with that?
Yep. Done.
All right. So we took Caleb there. We had options. I mean, Laporta's there, McBride's there. We wanted to for sure stack Kincaid with Allen. So I remember last night watching the draft, and I forget who it was. They went tight end early, and just hearing them talking about how they regretted it. Just, again, you want to allow yourself options later on and not have to chase any positions. And I think we've done that by locking in, our stud hero, I guess, quarterback. We've got the young upside quarterback, and then we've got our stack with the premier tight end and Kincaid, who should be getting peppered this year in that offense.
Right. And that definitely is going to ease the pressure on us at quarterback too, having 2 already in the bank. We don't need to feel pressured to take one. We'll take one if we like one, but the pressure is all off. So
exactly. Look, if there was a receiver we really liked there,
mm-hmm.
and that was less of a reach, for sure, I say we should have, we go with a receiver just to lock one up. It is Triflex. But even now, I mean, we can kind of hammer in that position if we wanted to. Yep.
So Team 5 has put together the Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride stack. Very nicely done.
Yeah. That's what I was, when I put him in there, I said, I know there's a team that would probably want that piece. And you could see that brewing, with from one stack obsessed player to another, you see those brewing in as the draft goes. So, hats off to him. That's a really nice start.
So interestingly enough, we have only 8 wide receivers gone, despite the fact that this is Triflex, and 6 running backs have gone. I'm going to put that down in the mildly shocking category.
Yeah, I think now with the way receivers have roles, in a sense, it's not always necessarily like the number 1 guy. You look at offenses like Green Bay, Chicago, obviously they got DJ Moore, but you got to think that ball's going to get spread around in some of these offenses. So it allows you to take value at the position later on, especially in best ball. You can always make up and get those spike weeks if you build properly down the stretch in the draft.
Yep, definitely. So it does take a little bit of the pressure off.
See, London went at 3-8 there, so he was the next receiver I was looking at. Puka Nakua was oh, sorry, don't mean to name players that are sorry. I thought he was gone, but he's, it was either him or Drake that were options there, and I don't know, it felt like a reach for Drake where we were.
Yeah, I think it would have been. So I'm happy with how we came out. I think, the more I think about it, I think Caleb really was a good move that made a lot of sense for this team. And now we can just go out and pick whatever we need to. So you were talking about the Brandon Ayuk signing. Did that surprise you at all, JD, that he did end up signing, or did you think this was headed for a divorce?
No, I was surprised it took this long, to be honest. Look, let's face it, San Fran's gone to the Super Bowl how many times now in the last few years? They're one of the most exciting offenses. They got one of the best coaching minds in the game. For them to not keep it together, or at least find a really good replacement, which, Pearsall is definitely not going to come in and replace any of these guys, not off the bat anyways. And I don't think even this year. So for me, it was a must. It was a no-brainer. I think management probably a little annoyed, we could tell yesterday, by how long it took, but you know how it is, Dan. You got to play the game if you want your money, and that's what happened. And at the end of the day, they signed him. Now they're ready for another Super Bowl run.
Yeah, and of course, deadlines spur deals, and by saying that he was physically able to perform, and ending the sham of this being a medical related holdout, basically it started the clock ticking towards they could start finding him immediately and start the clock ticking towards a possible suspension by the team as well. And this, to me, just the fact that Ayuk never wanted to take any of these deals that were supposedly offered by other teams was kind of telling that he really wanted to be in San Francisco. He was just trying to put enough pressure on them to get the money right, which I guess is probably what happened. I mean, on the surface, $30 million a year, that's pretty solid money.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the off-season highlights of the Pittsburgh training camp, I mean, obviously there was whispers because of his relationship with Jaden Daniels in Washington, but I'm sure they, I don't know. I feel like Pittsburgh was probably the most possible, but I'm sure he's happy to be in San Fran. Let's put it that way. Because look, last year he was Purdy's favorite target, right? And they're building that rapport. So he knows that he's got another chance at a Super Bowl, and that's probably the best place that he's going to have that chance again. So you know what? Everybody's happy now. Fantasyland is happy. My Debo, Kittle investments that are my most owned, just in case. But it's kind of like you can't go wrong, because I feel like all three of those pieces of that offense, and then obviously you've got CMC. I mean, they're gonna pay on return on investment, no matter where you got those guys.
Yep, definitely. And I think it's great for Pickens as well, just because he doesn't have that additional competition, and also very good for Ayuk, because Ayuk ending up in an Arthur Smith offense is something that nobody really wanted to see.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he didn't end up there. I thought it was interesting this morning that Cleveland was all of a sudden clearing a bunch of salary cap room by rolling. But maybe that was not for Ayuk. What if that was for, say, Devontae Adams?
Oh, that would be interesting.
It would,
because they just added Judy in the offseason. You've got Amari, old dependable over there, and the running game, Jerome Ford, you hope is going to step up, but they're definitely not going to lean in on it as much as they would if Chubb was there. So if they added another piece like that, that definitely would have been nice. But or that would definitely be nice with that. I mean, good for Adams. I think anywhere now for him to get out of Vegas, unless it's like Pittsburgh or something like that. But if he goes to New York, if he goes to a team like Cleveland, you hope that Watson can get back to shape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that offense would be pretty scary to match the defense.
Definitely. All right. I got 3 players in the queue. Do you want to add anybody?
I like 2. I definitely like 2.
Okay.
I
think 1 presents a pretty good value right now.
Let me see where he's. Yeah, he goes kind of mid to back end based on Fantasy Mojo. Shout out Fantasy Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind getting 2 of these guys. So number 2 for me would be my first pick.
Okay, so
and if you know what, if you like the value on 1, let's take it.
Well, here's the thing. I also like number 3 a lot. So
I know you like number 3. We've got him on all our teams.
Are you saying I need to learn how to stop?
No, I mean, it's, we want to differentiate a little bit. I mean, he's an interesting topic. We could do a half a show on that guy and that offense, right? So I think 2 would be my first choice if we need to kind of extend the clock.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that.
I do think we need 2 of these two from this position. Another guy I really like is there. I don't know if you like him because the guy, he's probably gone at the next pick. The guy just added.
Yeah, I like him as well. I'm not opposed to doing that either. So any of these 3, I think, are a very defensible pick. I'm not crazy enough to say I'm smart enough to know which one is going to end up doing the best out of the 3.
So the guy added is probably a bit of a reach. He's going towards the back end of the 5th. Mm-hmm. You know what? Oh, sorry, man. Let's do Adams.
Okay. Do Adams?
Just take the value. You know what? We probably both don't have that much Adams, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
That is correct. I have little bits here and there where he's fallen. I haven't been taking him at ADP, but he does fall past ADP. So more than happy to take him.
You got to think if Vegas doesn't win all year with their defense, that he gets traded. Right? I mean, unless they surprise the football world and have, kind of a good streak. I haven't really analyzed their schedule, to be honest. It's not a team I've really invested much into.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is it just, I don't know, the vibe that we get off of Adams is, he's saying, I'm here, I'm happy. It just sort of sounds like, the old Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. That's totally what it is. Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting off of that. But, on the other hand, he does have an ego. He does want to play and play well. So, I think we're going to see something off him, but I think he's definitely hoping that the front office sees that their best method of getting the best value out of him is to move him for a couple of picks.
It'd be smart for the franchise. It would probably make him happy, like you said.
Yep. And it would allow them to, really see what they've got. And, with the other players, I mean, Jacoby Myers is definitely a competent wide receiver. Having him as your wide receiver 1 is a little bit less than ideal. But they do have 2 tight ends that are very playable. Trey Tucker sounds like he's been doing well in camp. So, they do have somebody who can step up a little bit there. And, so I think Oakland would be fine. I think they plan to run the crap out of the ball anyway. So, maybe losing Adams isn't the worst thing.
I'm just more willing to take him in best ball because he does have those spike weeks. Like, if he's getting 20 plus targets, like he did last year against against Indy, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had another 126 yards. He had another 100 yards with 12 targets. He got peppered with 20 targets and 172 yards earlier in the season. So you're really after those spike weeks with him in best ball. And, it's triflex. We're going to definitely have a bunch of receivers that can make up for those other weeks.
Yep, definitely.
And if he gets moved, you've got that upside, if he does get traded.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And just looking back at the board, we did, after we took Debo and Devontae at the 4-5 turn, we had a run of 3 tight ends, Evan Ingram, George Kittle, Jake Ferguson. I find that Kittle and Ferguson are getting pushed up higher and higher as we go through, and get closer to the season. The fever is just getting more intense for the tight ends in the FFPC format. So
I told you earlier in my main, I was shocked that Ferguson fell to me at the 6'2". When I think the latest he's gone is 6'5" in the whole tournament. So even though I already had McBride, I had to smash that.
Yeah, for sure.
With the double stud.
Yep. And then so Team 5 has he's got a triple stack of Arizona, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, and then he's just now made a double stack of Miami with Jalen Waddle and Tua. And then we have Team 6 took Nico Collins. Team 7 took Theo took Devonta Smith. So he was all over Smith as expected. That's a Theo favorite for sure. And then Bip took Isaiah Pacheco. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Pacheco, JD? Do you think that the P. Ryan signing affects him in any way, or is it just kind of a non-issue for Pacheco?
I think it's a non-issue personally. I think he's fine. He's just not, because of, for me, it's opportunity cost, right? I just really like receivers, tight ends in that area. Usually, Ayuk. We could have taken Ayuk a little earlier there and teamed him up with Debo if we wanted. I'm sure he's going to move up boards now. But Pacheco, he's a guy I had a lot of last year because of cost. And he did really well for me. But again, now, I mean, look, this is Triflex, right? He's going 5th round, but he's going in like a regular draft, he's going 2nd or 3rd. I think he's going 3rd round. So for me, there's just other pieces I like more. To me, he's a safe bet. He's going to probably pay off the ADP, but I don't know that he's going to outperform his ADP.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it.
And let's not forget Carson Steele, man. Let's not forget the good old, what's everybody calling him, the halfback?
Yes.
Not halfback. What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Fullback. Yeah.
Fullback. Sorry. Yeah. That's
got my back.
Nelson's calling him a fullback. So
there you go.
That's always fun. Nelson's good for a laugh.
But I do like that 5 spot, what he's done with the stackage. And you got to like what Adam did, considering he started with the 2 running backs. He still smashed Nakua, took the value, and then he still has Lawrence and Cousins, and then, smashed Bowers so it's not like he's weak at any positions really. And he's still able to start with those 2 stud running backs. So nice build by Adam there on the end there in the 11th spot.
Yep, definitely. All right. I'm kind of loading up the queue with a few possibles.
Yeah, that number 1 spot, I get it. I get it for sure. Especially, I love me that strategy, not giving any hints. He just kind of worries me for some reason.
He does me as well. And these are in no particular order. I was just kind of going through.
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, actually, number 2 is pretty nice, actually. That could have been good with number 2, but we can.
Yep. I actually don't mind number 4 at all.
I was literally just looking at him in the player list, available list, and then I was looking where you had him. I knew you'd have him in there. That's probably 2 and 4, probably my favorite.
Yeah, but though 3 and 4 makes a nice little.
Yeah, true.
True. Those 2 compare well.
Let's see what goes here. 2 and 3 we've had to decide between a couple times already. It's a tough one.
It is. Yep.
And that's what happens, right? In these drafts, like you get in these spots where you're deciding between 2 guys, similar position, you're weighing all the options and you still can't figure it out. And then you end up in another draft and you have the same decision. Usually I'll just go the other way. Oh man.
I say we just go 3 and 4 here.
Oh, I love that.
All right.
Oh, 3 and 4?
Yeah.
You want to skip 2 again? Let's do 3 and 4. I'm fine with it.
Just for the stackage.
Yeah, it's the name of the show, man. Come on.
There we go. All right. So we're going to do this fast.
So Mixon and Diggs.
We're going to put Terp on the defensive here. Make him think. All right. So back to Terp. See what he does here.
It's so weird looking at the queue when you're seeing like some of these quarterbacks around some of these positional players. It's like throwing me off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the TriFlex format is it's a little bit different when you're just doing the normal, one quarterback contest leagues, like most of what we've been doing. Because I don't think you and I have done any of the SuperFlex tourney either together. We've done all the other ones, but not that one.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of the SuperFlex tourney. I haven't done a lot of the TriFlex Best Balls. I have a couple that are running right now, the slows.
Okay.
But I mostly focus on the SuperFlex tournament when it comes to the 35s.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've done a lot of them on my own too, so we just haven't gotten together for any.
Yeah.
I think
everything we've done is slow so far. Is a slow draft. We got to get a live one in. We've got this one. Maybe we get a football players or football pros or something.
Yeah,
before the end.
Yep. Yeah, need to get the fantasy pros draft in there.
Fantasy
somewhere.
pros.
Yep.
I keep calling it football. The football guys I'm thinking about.
Yep. We'll have to do like either an afternoon draft or a late night draft or something like that because I have.
Yes. You're busy.
I have a bunch of drafts coming up.
Yeah,
Too many.
I totally get it.
I started adding up all the leagues I'm going to need to do waivers for, and I was a very depressed soul for a little while.
Yeah, it gets stressful. Those waivers that's the only downfall to the big tournaments when you're in the main and the fantasy pros is just thinking about the Wednesday night and the Friday nights. The Wednesday night is the worst, I find. The Friday I can manage, but the Wednesday night's just hectic.
Yep. No doubt about it. All right. So we've got almost 6.5 rounds in the books. Through 6 rounds, we have 13 running backs that came off the board, which is interesting because we had 6 running backs, like through 2.5 rounds, and another 3.5 rounds only got us 7 more running backs. Or 6 more running backs. And then we have, through 6 rounds. 13 running backs, 28 wide receivers, 10 tight ends, and 21 quarterbacks were taken through 6 rounds. So
notice how far after we were deciding Evans went. I wonder if we left Adams, how far he would have went. With this group, I feel with this group he may have fallen a bit.
Yeah, he might have fallen a bit for sure. And I was a little bit surprised to see Evans end up all the way down at wide receiver 25. There's definitely some ageists in this room. For
sure. I know you like the kind of the older proven guys. Like even with Houston, you like the Diggs.
Yeah, well, I like the young guys too, but I'm not afraid of the old guys. Like
that's what I mean. Like you like your Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking Devontae Smith there instead of Adams. That's kind of where I was thinking. I'm surprised that 2 did not take Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised as well. But, Dave's a sharp drafter.
Look, there's nothing wrong with Ingram because I almost suggested him there as well.
Yeah, I was looking at him hard too. But I just felt like it was probably better if we get a couple wide receivers under our belt. So
same.
Yep, I went the other way.
Thing is, in best ball, you can be a little. It's the consistency is not necessarily as crucial when you're talking about these receivers again, because depending on your build, so you can take these guys that have super spike weeks and still be fine.
Yep,
some of these guys are
absolutely.
still going, you know, like DJ Moore. I feel like he still goes kind of late for me.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I mean, I would have even taken him there in front of Adams.
Yeah, that's definitely one we're thinking about. The only thing that gives me pause on DJ Moore is just the fact that they did add Keenan Allen and then also added Roma Dunze, which is, you know, that's a lot more competition for the ball than he had last year. Obviously, we should have some better quarterback play this year than last year, which will help sort all that out. But you know, I think DJ Moore is going to do well to hold on to everything that he had production-wise last year. Wouldn't surprise me if he takes a little step back.
Yeah, you got to remember who was throwing him the ball last year, and who's throwing him the ball this year. That's what I remember. And that's why I'm so bullish on him. I've been grabbing him early in the big tournaments. I don't mind. JSN's another nice piece. He's going a little later than I might take him. Justin Field goes off the boards. There you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a strategy for sure. He's got two quarterbacks. So he can afford to take a chance with that third one.
Yeah, I see number 1 still there.
Mm-hmm.
2 and 3 are definitely nice. Yep. And 4. I added 4 in there. I like 6, obviously.
And 5. 5 also works for me. But yeah, I think even if 1 makes it all the way back to us, we might have to pass on him again.
I think so too.
Depending on how many of these other guys make it. But I think we need to get 1 out of either 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then 1 out of either 4 or 5, if it's possible to do that.
Do you know, is there, I didn't even check. I should have asked Mike. Is there like a playoff with this, or how does it work? Is there, because I know there's 5.
Each team or each league winner, there's 4 different leagues, I believe. And each league winner will get a free Fantasy Pros draft for next year. And the overall league winner will get, I think it's a main event. So,
but is the overall going to a playoff like week 15, 16, 17 kind of, or no?
Nope. I think it's it's kind of like the Pros versus Joes. So it's just whoever has the most points out of
at the end.
Yep.
Okay.
Out of the 4 league winners. Yep.
All right. That's good to know.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me ask you, because I'm on another platform, because I'm a little limited up here. I don't have the underdog option. And they do tournaments with 17 weeks best ball. Do you stack divisions at all in those? Like, I feel like that's where I kind of fall back on just to get some kind of stackage going, is I'll usually throw in a couple divisional stacks. Or do you think it just doesn't matter if you're not in a playoff?
It probably doesn't matter as much if you're not in a playoff. I think, to me, the stacking is just to have it so fewer things can go wrong. Or you need fewer things to go right. And when you're in a standalone, there's no, week 15, 16, 17 playoff. It's just a standalone league. I don't worry as much about stacking, again, other than.
Or correlation. Sorry, I mean correlation, I guess.
Yeah, the correlation, can be nice, but that's really just limited to 1 or 2 specific games. So, I just don't think that helps unless there's specific games that you care about. When when all 17 games are counted equal, as they will be in this tournament, it just doesn't matter so much. All right. Well, for sure, we're going to get either 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I think. Oh,
okay. Well,
that's easy.
Yeah,
just take those 2.
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Decisions made. Everything in the queue left except for two options.
I like it. All right.
So Darnold and Odunze. Odunze probably him and Worthy, my 2 most owned rookies right now.
Yep.
All right, we got another little stack for you there. Caleb with Rome.
Definitely. So we've got
Buffalo, Houston, and Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Nix was the other guy we were considering there. He went right before to Dave in the 2 spot.
Yep. But having Odunze paired up with Caleb Williams is really nice. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he will quickly become the two option in that offense. He's too good.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that guy was just incredible in college. So, and it seems like he and Caleb have a connection going already. So that's always nice to see too.
Plus, what a cool name. I mean, from a guy who's got 2 first names, I mean, Rome Odunze, that's just awesome.
It is.
So now with the build that we have, we're kind of free. You know, I feel like you want in the start 3, I want at least 4 really good receivers. I mean, even in the regular FFPC where it's 2 plus 2 flex, I like having at least 4 really good receivers. We've got 3 quarterbacks. I think you and I agree that Darnold has a better season than a lot of people are maybe giving him credit for. We've got the Houston offense with Mixon and Diggs. And then, you know, Debo's Debo. Adams, we'll see what happens. Should get peppered no matter what, but
yeah, and if anything, what I like about Debo is if anything happens to Christian McCaffrey or Brandon Ayuk, either one gives them a path to more touches.
True. That's very true, especially, when it's CMC, they get really creative with Debo.
Yep.
I mean, anyways, let's not see. It's hard to talk without talking about players that are still out there. But
yes, it is.
All right, I'm going to start filling in. Where are we now? So back end of the 9th, you've got 43 receivers off the board, 20 running backs, 30 quarterbacks, and 13 tight ends.
Yes. And Team 12 is sitting with 1 quarterback so far, Bryce Young.
Nice, Dwayne.
Dwayne is he is taking it to the limit.
I like it.
I mean, he's still got a couple of there's still a couple starters left on the board. So you know, and there's at least 1 quarterback that should be probably moving towards a starting role soon. So you know, and Dwayne may only take 1 more quarterback here.
There's no, honestly, in best ball, like, there you go. So he's got Bryce and Minshew, but again, you're trying to piece this together. And how many quarterbacks started last year, right? There's like, I don't remember the number, but it was outrageous, the amount of quarterbacks that started a game last year. So you just stack them up later in the draft, and he's nailed Hall, Justin Jefferson, Neighbors, Mark Andrews, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, and then he stacked it with Bryce Young, and then he added Brian Thompson to the mix. So, I mean, he's got really nice positional players there with Young and Minshew.
Right, exactly. I mean, basically right now, one of his wide receivers is going to be sitting every week. And potentially 2 of them. You know, if Minshew and Bryce Young both make his starting lineup, then 2 of his wide receivers will be sitting. So he's really packed his flex already. Not worrying about his running back 2 at all, as many of us aren't. Team 10, Cody Carpenter has 4 running backs, and Alan Seslowski has 3 running backs. Nobody else has more than 2 so far. So that tells you just exactly what people are thinking of the running backs in this draft. But you know, that's not a bad contrarian strategy either by those guys. And then Adam, of course, has his Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson. I mean, he could probably go to like round 17 before he takes another running back.
Yeah.
So
you're assuming those guys start your RB spots every week, except for their buys. So he's probably just going to fill in the buys at the end towards the back end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a position that then, I mean, even in a regular draft, I'm loving, you know, round 11 to round 15, 16 running backs. There's so much depth with upside at the position, and they're getting pushed down in this format anyways.
Yep, definitely. And I think, let's see. I think it's probably time to start loading the queue again.
Yeah, I'm throwing some names just to.
Yep, I like that one you threw in.
Yeah.
I gotta throw another. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's actually probably better than what I threw in, but I'm just going guys I like, but your strategy is probably better right now for the build.
Yeah, we'll see what happens along here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, where's he going? What do we got? 2-4. Mojo, where are you on here?
All right. So Russell Wilson is the quarterback 33 off the board. So we've got all our starters plus one, the Justin Fields drafter. Took the only non-starter so far. Well, Drake May, I guess, is the non-starter for now. But I think we all have a pretty good idea he's going to be starting within a few weeks.
Oh, Dan.
Yes?
I just threw two names, but I just moved one ahead of the other. Look at number 7. That might be
yeah,
he's number 6 now.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
That might be an option here.
Yeah, I like number 1 a lot.
Does he what's 6? Yeah, I mean, I don't even hate going 1 and 5 here.
I don't hate it either.
I think 5 for this format and with what we've built, I think this is the spot to take him.
Yeah. Yep. I like it.
You good with that?
So 1 and 5. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do it. So TJ Hawk, just because with Kincaid, you got to think with Allen, he's going to fill that tight end spot every week. And then when Hawk comes back from injury, even if it's week 7, he's basically a stud tight end you're getting late. And I just feel like Khalil Shakir could easily be, and probably is already, the wide receiver 1, being the third option for Josh Allen. So we already have Allen, Kincaid, and now we lock up Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, he's somebody that Allen is used to throwing to, whereas Curtis Samuel, who I really had high hopes for earlier in the offseason. I've kind of pulled on him a little bit, as have most drafters, just because of the fact that he's not getting the practice time that we hoped he would get since he's been injured.
Turf toe, right? I think he had.
Yeah. And that's also something that can linger as well, which we would prefer to avoid.
And he's not a stranger to being injured either.
No.
Let's face it.
No, definitely not. Though he has been injured less than I thought when I earlier in the offseason when I did a deeper dive on Curtis Samuel for an article I wrote. I actually surprised myself, because I went in and I was like, is he really injured as often as I think he was? And I looked and I was like, not actually. So he's played like 14 games and 5 out of 6 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
Yeah, it's I forget what it is. I'd have to look it up. I mean, I think I wrote that article in like March. So
it's probably just the teams he was on. He's in Carolina and Washington, so
right.
They weren't exactly top of the headlines when he was there.
Yep, definitely. All right, so Alan Seslowski adds Hollywood Brown to his Kansas City stack. So he's got Mahomes, Rashee Rice, and Hollywood Brown. And then Terp next to us has started his running back collection. He's got Ramondre Stevens, Chase Brown, Tony Pollard to go with his 3. He's collecting things in 3s. So he has 3 quarterbacks, 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and only 2 tight ends so far. But
he's probably so happy. He's probably so happy that he's got his Eagles stack that he doesn't even care about the rest of his roster.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that was the other reason why I wasn't too bad about taking Josh Allen. I didn't want to deprive Terp of his Jalen Hurts. I would have heard about that one. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think in general, I think Khalil Shakir, obviously build is always a factor. So if you're looking at your like receiver 5-6 and you went like pretty consistent starters for your first 5 or first 5, maybe Keon Coleman just for the upside. But I feel like Khalil, wow, I really have trouble saying that. Shakir Fitz should be going ahead of Coleman. Just
Yeah. And then Jordan Addison just went. He was somebody else I was considering. If Hawkinson hadn't made it to us, I would have probably pushed for Addison. Addison will give you a faster start because he should be very, very active with Hawkinson out.
He's suspended.
No.
I thought he got suspended 6 games.
No, not unless that happened in the last hour. He is
okay. Did I totally? Was that just the wrong? Hold on, let me do a quick goggle here.
Yep, got to put that goggle on. But he's I think he's a nice player because he's going to give a lot of production early in the season, and it never hurts to be off to a fast start.
Right here. Is this fake news? August 26th, NFL has announced Vikings Jordan Addison will be suspended for 6 games this season after being arrested for DUI back in July.
Oh, I missed that completely somehow.
Yes, sir. I think that's when you were in the bush. No?
No?
The 26th? Or is that just a fake account and I just got fooled? Or
I think maybe that might be it. What was the account?
It wouldn't be the first time, Dan. NFL North News. Maybe someone's listening. Drop it in the chat because I could have swore that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that. I'm not seeing.
I'm actually not seeing it anywhere else. So yeah, it probably is. Wow, I got totally fooled there.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow, that's a surprise to me.
Huh. All right, fake news. Here we go.
All right, good deal. And Rotopat wanted Addison, so that tells you that he's still around and alive and ready to go.
All right, there you go. All right, so what do we approaching end of the 11th? Oh, I'm surprised. I'm surprised number 2 that we have in our queue didn't go already.
Yeah. Yeah. Though I got him super late in a draft just recently. He fell a lot farther than I thought he would. So people are down on him. And he is supposed to be ready week 1 too. So I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Yeah, we'll reveal the name as soon as, of course, as soon as he gets drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, Justin Vetter, Addison is fake news. Thank you, Justin.
I got fooled.
There you go. That's what happens if you're not careful. They change one letter on the account and you get faked out.
Interesting. All right, well, that's good for my Addison shares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the running back pot is just loaded right now.
Yep, and then and Dwayne just scoops major value at running back, taking
there he is,
Morris, Mostert, and Jaylen Warren.
Jaylen Warren is
that's
who I was talking about. Just because he seems like he's healthy, he's going to start year 1. If you remember, prior to him having the injury, he was, I believe, going ahead of Najee.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Just more explosive,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, though Najee has apparently lost weight this year and should be more explosive. So
I like both of them. I think people hate on Najee for no reason.
Yeah.
That you got to think that team's going to run the ball. I mean, we saw last year Bijan and Algier. They're pretty productive, both of them.
Yes, definitely.
There goes the not so sexy Darnell Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
Stacked with Cousins.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if any runs develop between here and our pick.
Any interest in the guy I just threw in?
Well, let me see. Some, yeah.
Kind of locks up that position and it fits with the build.
Right.
I mean, I know there's a lot of, sexy names in the queue right now with the other positions. Well, the one position anyways.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping one of those top 3 players we have in the queue falls to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised one is.
Yeah.
That'd be good value. Oh, there he goes. I was just going to go look where his ADP is.
Yeah, well, he's
oh, wow. That's a 4-round discount on Zamir White, because according to Mojo, he's an 8th rounder in the
Triflex. With the Triflex?
In the last three days, yeah. Or no, why is this the last month?
I think they don't do.
They don't do 3 days with that one. Okay.
Yeah, they don't do as many Triflex.
That's probably why.
Yeah, but running back 32, that's a great price.
It's still pretty good. I mean, Brian Robinson's he's my most owned running back, so it's.
Yeah, Brian Robinson is great, but I mean, Zamir White is a really, really nice price right there, because we here in Minnesota have seen Alexander Madison. So
anyone who's owned Madison knows.
Yeah, that's your best commercial right there for Zamir White is Alexander Madison, and Dylan Lave hasn't exactly been lighting it up either. So you got to ask yourself, do you think it's going to be like Amir Abdullah or something? So I was on White early. I got off him for a while. I think I'm going to be back on him for this last week of draft.
Yeah, I think if he's shooting down, I'm throwing some other names in the queue there, just a little bit down the available list in case those top guys are gone.
Okay. Yep. I like a lot of those names. It will not surprise you that I like number 7 a lot.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9 are 3 of my favorites.
Yeah. Though I do think if number 1 makes it to us, that's a pick we got to make.
What's his I mean, he's definitely dependable. Like he's one of those floor consistent guys.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I would argue for number 1 and number 7. I like number 4, but I think we gotta.
No, I'm thinking number 5 or 6. I'm just wondering if 5 or 6 instead of 7, but I like all 3 of those guys. So honestly,
yeah, I do too. I would say 6 is my least favorite. I would rather have 5 or 7.
Okay. What about the buy? Oh, they're the same buy, anyways. So it doesn't even change anything, and it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a conflict.
Well, grab your guy. Grab number 1.
Okay. Devin Singletary, welcome to the team. It just looks like he is going to be the guy for the Giants to start with. So this gives us the early season production that we for sure need, and then we can be a little bit more risky the rest of the way at running back. We don't have to worry about what's going on in the early season. So,
is 5 any more sexy with the latest news, Dan, to you? Because to me, that didn't change anything. That's the only reason I'm asking.
Yeah, it didn't really change much for me either. So I think, and he's now in the number 4 hole, of course, and then in the number 6 hole. So I'm going to let you make this pick, JD, because I am. I know, right?
Let me see where these guys are going. Oh wow, 2-round value with 4 over 6.
Okay, taking him.
There you go. Yeah, like when it's a tiebreak for me, I'm going to take the value, and Corum is going 2 rounds ahead of Wright. I mean, maybe that's changed a bit in the last little bit, but if you think Wright's got 2 guys ahead of him, even though he's really, more of the Mostert kind of backup, I guess, quote unquote.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the thing is with Wright, the way I look at it is you've got 2 guys who are already sharing the job. So if anything happens to either one, he steps into that job share that's been super productive for both of the guys who are already in there. So, even though he sounds like a 3rd string running back, to me, he's really a 2nd string running back.
I see what you're saying.
So that's what I really like about him. It's like, he's kind of got this perception of, being 2 steps away, but he's really only 1 step away.
Yeah.
And I think
I agree with that 100%. And that's why I think he's a really nice pick. I was just looking at the board, taking the value there. I do think they're both in great offenses with great minds kind of running the show, in McVay and McDaniels. But yeah, either one, like I said, either one would have been fine. Yep. Sometimes you just got to pick the tie break, figure out what's going to break the tie for you.
Yep. And, on the Fantasy Empire podcast that I'm doing now with Chris Vaccaro and Nelson Sousa and Matt Modica, it gives me an opportunity to pick Nelson Sousa's brain a little bit more. And Nelson is way down on Kyren Williams and way up on Blake Corum. So
interesting. That's interesting.
I do like that pick. I mean, basically he's, his perception of it is, Kyren Williams doesn't really have the physical skill set that says he's going to, maintain the level of performance that he had. Corum physically is probably as good or better, a little bit better. So, he's just betting on that, and then now with, with Kyren returning punts as well, it's just kind of another opportunity to get injured. Unless they're just planning on having to sit back there and wave his hand and do the fair catch thing all the time.
Could they not have like a chain Mostert, kind of Gibbs, Demont kind of thing in LA there with those 2? I feel like that could be maybe worst case scenario for Kyren.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the case. So,
because I forget where I heard this the other day, but I believe Gibbs last year started the season returning punts for like the first 2 games or something.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. To me, that didn't really move the needle too much. Yes, maybe he's got a couple percentage chance more of getting hurt returning the ball, but
yeah, I mean, but it's not the kiss of death either. I mean, Antonio Brown used to return punts. Deebo Samuel returned a lot of punts.
He'll just be nice and warmed up then when he gets right, in the backfield.
Exactly. As they say, it's just one more, or as Sean McVay says, it's just one more chance to get the ball in Kyren's hands.
The ball in his hands, yeah.
Yeah.
The coach speak this time of year is just so entertaining.
Yep, no doubt about it. And what's going to be interesting is the new kickoff returns, because it seems like it should be more likely for teams to score, but in the spring football league, they really didn't. I think only one kickoff got returned for a touchdown, but there were so few kickoffs that were actually returned that because it's a small league, it's a short season, so that really cut down on the number of opportunities. Plus, you're also not talking about NFL caliber players and NFL caliber coaches who might be able to deal with the opportunities there better and scheme things up a little bit better. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think kickoff scoring is going to be up. So if you can grab guys like Mims that are kick returners as well, I think that might be a sneaky way to kind of boost the scoring a little bit.
It's funny how Mims was like that guy you wanted in the late rounds. Then all of a sudden he was getting cut. And then next thing you know, Tim Patrick gone, Mims back in. It's just,
right.
You know, you never know.
Yep, definitely.
I threw a couple names in the queue if they make it back, especially the number 3 there.
Yeah. Yep. Like that. 3 and 4. Actually, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Same.
Like all those a lot.
And just looking at what you have at number 1, we could, if we wanted to get sneaky, let me just scroll and find them. But we could. I put him at number 4 just so you could see him.
Okay. Yeah,
Later.
That's what I thought you were putting in.
Yeah.
Yep, that's always a possibility too.
So interesting. Cody's got 2. He's got AR and Stafford, and he didn't pick up a third quarterback yet. He just picked up his 2 first tight ends in 13-14 with Komet and Ertz. So he really loaded up on receiver, and then he's got his 4 kind of stud running backs in Henry, Etienne, Jacobs, White. And that's what's nice about this format, and that I kind of get why Shopes and Adam chose this, is it really allows different ways to go about your build.
Yeah, a lot of different builds for sure. And, you know, and the thing is, he's still got outs. I mean, you know, he can take, you know, Joe Flacco, we know is elite. So, you know, he's backing up Richardson. So that's an easy way to get it, because probably nobody else is going to grab a Flacco. So,
well, in this format, especially those late rounds, I mean, those backup quarterbacks, the top, you know, kind of I guess the more proven backup quarterbacks, they become almost like a backup running back, you know, for these quarterbacks in the triflex build or superflex. So if you do get thin early at the position, you can always just stack a bunch of them at the end and hope one of them hits, you know, kind of like what we do at the end of our 28 round drafts.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, somebody beat us to Ray Davis.
That's one of them I was hoping for.
Yep.
But 1 and 2, I mean, that would be pretty nice. Actually, here's one that's not in there. I just threw at number 5. That's another one that we both like.
Oh, he must have just gone then.
Oh, he totally did. Yeah, Algier. I forgot. Yeah. No, I'm thinking about Adam at the other end, but yeah, Algier was probably not going to last much longer.
Okay. I have no problem taking 1 and 2. I think that's.
I can't believe 1 made it back to us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like 1 and 2 here.
Okay.
Let's
do it.
Chandler and Bucky Irving. I mean, 2 guys that I've been smashing. I feel like at some point, either of them, if not both, end up the RB1 and at least have pretty decent role, even when there is a guy ahead of them, you know?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, so now I think we can be feeling pretty good at running back, because we got Mixon and Singletary, and then we've got Corum, Chandler, and Irving. And I know Chandler is going to have a role to start the season. I feel pretty sure Corum probably is. And Bucky Irving, you know, we'll see. You know, I think there's a world where Rachaad White just continues to, you know, hog 80% of the carries or 80% of the touches. But I could also see a world where, you know, where Bucky Irving is getting, you know, 10 touches a week or something like that. And then that slowly starts expanding up to 12, 14, 16. And at that point, it's a timeshare.
The problem with White is efficiency. And they watched them all of last year. I think he had one of the worst efficiencies in the backfield. So I know, from what I understand, Irving's cut out a role catching the ball, kind of third down. He's a smaller guy. It's not like he's going to take over like completely as a workhorse, I don't think. But I could see the role kind of flipping, you know, like 60-40. Maybe the other way, maybe they're getting a bit more creative with Irving. That's if White doesn't, you know, improve this year on his efficiency. I don't know what that offensive line's like. That's one that I'm not as on top of. Dan, I don't know if you got any input there, but
yeah.
And there's still some names down here.
Yep.
At the, you know, and that's what's nice about running back this year is you can take a couple studs, kind of that hero RB build early with like 2 or 3 in the first, like in the single digit rounds.
Yep.
And then just take the upside guys later because there's so many of them.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's a nice thing. I mean, with Mixon, we got, you know, sort of a hero RB. You know, if he has the role we expect him to have with Houston, you know, there's your hero RB right there, but he's going much, much later than all the other hero RBs. So I like the way this build is coming together. You know, we have, just to kind of review where we're at, we have Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, Caleb Williams, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Sam Darnold, Rome Odunze, TJ Hawkinson, Khalil Shakir, Devin Singletary, Blake Corum, Ty Chandler, and Bucky Irving. So we've got 5 wide receivers. We've got 5 running backs. We've got 2 tight ends and 3 quarterbacks. So we could certainly add a quarterback if we want to, but we don't have to. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at running back. I'm sure we'll add, you know, 1 more at least, but we can definitely hit a lot of receivers the rest of the way, another tight end or 2. So, you know, we're sitting really good with 5 picks left. Like, I don't feel like there's any positions where we got to just absolutely hammer.
No, I'm just throwing a bunch of names in the queue. There's like 10 now in there.
Okay. I'm going to throw.
Oh, there's one that's not there for some reason. I just added him now. You can move him up probably to actually like up here. Oh, he's gone.
Whoops.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's still there. Nope, not for long.
All right. I added one more that I think we should probably take over number 5.
Where'd you put him?
He's at number 10.
Okay, hold on. I got to refresh.
Okay.
I'm not showing 10. Oh, I think he just showed up, but there's a bit of a delay. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, because he's got the starting role right now.
He's actually you can go like that.
Okay.
Oh, no, he didn't move for some reason. There we go. What do you think of 1? Are we considering that, or are we going to wait a couple or another turn?
I would wait. I don't think he's a need for us.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
And I do think there are positions where we'd be better off addressing.
It'd be more to put pressure on some other teams.
Right.
But even that, there's only really 2 that is really doing that to.
Right.
2 or 3. There's 3. Yeah, I mean, but I agree. I think if we're just looking at our build, let's keep doing what we're doing, especially at the number 3. Like if the number 3 in our queue, like at that position, I feel like we could even double tap that if we wanted to this turn.
Yeah, I think there's also the number 6 position.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of guys still. Hold on, let me just isolate that position and see what's.
Yeah, I added a few into the queue.
Yeah, no, I see them, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still.
There is, but I think they're going to move fast in the next round or 2.
Yeah, you're probably right. So just maybe 1 of each.
Yeah, I think so. Right now, I like number 5 a lot.
Yeah, no, I know you do. So do that.
Yep.
Why don't we do that? And who just went? Oh yeah, I was hoping McCaffrey might make it, but
yep.
Number 3 could be okay. Oh, wait a minute. I feel like there's someone I'm missing here for that, unless he's gone already. Let me isolate.
Yeah. And then I think, there's 5, 6, and 10, 11, 12.
I know.
One of those.
I know which one that I'm going to put. I'm going to put right below the guy that you want. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 5. Number 5 is someone really sneaky right now that I would love to get here.
Yeah, I think 4 is better than 5, to be honest.
Which one?
4.
No, I know. I'm saying we take 4 and 5.
Do you want to push the other position to the next pair of picks?
Let me see.
But I do like where you're going with 5.
Yeah, you know what? I think we can. I have guys in mind that are going in the last 2 rounds even that we could get on the next turn.
Okay, let's do it.
I think for this format, honestly, Malik Washington, man, I think he's being slept on right now with Odell. It's literally Waddle and thing, and Waddle's kind of waddling right now with an injury.
Right.
And if you see, they're kind of using this guy all over the field.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's a great pick.
He's my new favorite kind of late round guy right now. Mm-hmm. So
yes, definitely.
All right. That's a good compromise there. You got your guy, I got my guy. That's how you co-own teams.
Right.
I just like that offense. It's kind of like we talked about with the running backs earlier. It's you can't really go wrong with. They get so creative in that offense.
Yep. All right. So Colby Parkinson, that is a tight end I like a lot. He just went to Pat.
He's my favorite late round tight end, and he would have definitely been an option there. But there's a guy that number 5 that I'm hoping makes it back to us.
Yes. Yeah. I know
that's really what I was looking at. Yeah.
Yes.
I just can't believe he's still down there. I don't want to say too much, but let's see what else we can find down here. I'm going to throw a guy in there. I don't know. I don't think much of it, but I'm curious to know if you've. I knew you were going to laugh.
Oh, you're killing me, JD.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay. All right.
You never know. The last pick, or I don't know.
Yeah. See what happens.
I'm thinking about Eric in our chat there, Shiva.
Oh,
he always has these like late guys that he's like in love with, and he'll just go on and on about them. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt about it. Number 6 in our queue definitely being one of those.
Yeah. And actually, yeah, I wouldn't mind on the way back with the other position we're thinking. Thing is, like, I'll go back to look at best ball leagues that I've won, and sometimes you go to like the back of the board and it's like, wow, none of those guys hit. But there's always that one guy, you know what I mean? There's always the one out of like the last 7 picks that you made or the last 5 picks that you made that just makes the difference. So if you can find that difference maker in the back end of your best ball draft, you don't necessarily have to hit 100%,
What always surprises me is that, I go back and I look at best ball leagues and, whether I won the league or somebody else won the league, and I look at the team that won the league And I'm like, how did this team win the league? You know, because
Yeah.
I'll look at a couple other teams. I'm like, these, you know, and even with the benefit of hindsight and knowing the scoring and everything, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like, how did this team beat that team? You know, and sometimes it's just a matter of, you know, having the spike weeks in the right spots at the right times, you know, just kind of getting a little bit lucky with how your spike weeks line up. Sometimes it's just a matter of, you know, having a strong enough team where you never, you know, you have so few bad scores, whereas another team might have had a lot more hero scores, but also some really, really bad scores in there too. So it's
more
just
luck than
wild to me.
there's more luck involved than we like to think sometimes, Dan, you know, because you could have the best build, but if those guys don't hit in the right weeks in the right combination, doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've gotten to the point, JD, where I hardly ever post a board anymore.
I don't either.
It's, I'm afraid it does me more harm than good, you know, to hear, oh, that sucks, or I love that, or whatever, you know. It's just kind of like, it's sort of like, you know, asking MFL or asking, you know, Yahoo or something like that, you know, to give you your team rating after you draft.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you almost want the C- or D, because if you get the A or B,
you never want to be the one that got the A, you know, because
yes,
you're like, oh
doomed to
man.
failure.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Or if people are loving your team, you know, when you post the draft board, you're like, uh-oh, I'm doomed.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
It's not always the sexy teams, right? That's why you got to pick like the Singletaries, the Shakirs. You know, you gotta fill in the right weeks.
Yep, definitely.
So really, we're pretty comfortable at every position.
Yeah, there is the one we still need to address.
Yeah, but even
then,
that, I mean,
if number 4 is there,
yeah.
I think that's,
you think like this turn.
Yeah, I think you will not
3
be
and 4.
there.
If 4 is not there, let's go 5 just to make it fun.
Okay,
you good with that?
That one we might be able to save till last, but we'll see.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna go before.
Probably.
You'll see if you take a look, you'll know why.
All right. So interestingly, Cody took Taysom Hill, which is a nice pick, you know, for a guy who only has a couple starters, you know, because, you know, Taysom Hill is, you know, if he's healthy, he's going to be scoring points for you every week at the quarterback position. Maybe not as many as you'd prefer, but, you know, he's going to keep you from getting a 0 at the position, no doubt about it. So my question is, I know you like who's in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, why? Who do you like better?
For us to take number 1.
So here's why I say no. Well, I mean, we could.
Right?
We totally could. I'm just thinking that for the first half of the year, like the first 6-7 weeks, we probably want someone else on another team.
Yeah, though if one doesn't score, then the other one maybe does.
Look, I'm more on number 1 than probably 99% of fantasy players. I think he's a very sneaky play. I just feel that because of who we took in 2, you know, we could take him and then see what's available the next one if you want. Do we even have to take him here?
Yeah. Let's take number 1.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Now, are you going 2 or 3?
Well, yeah, the guy who just moved up to 2, Cam Akers.
Yeah. Is that who you want?
Yeah, I think that's a pick.
Go with the 2 boring picks, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think number 1 might last.
That's kind of what I was looking at, and that's he probably won't, but it's fine.
And
there's other options. There's other guys I'm gonna like. You threw in number 5 there. There's another guy that I think is super sneaky.
All right, throw him in. Yeah,
let me just.
We got lots of room in the queue.
Yeah, 5 is definitely one.
Yep.
Oh, here he is. There he is. I threw him in there.
Okay. Yep. I like that.
Yeah, I just feel like he's, let me just see who's got what here, because they might. Yeah. Let's see. See what comes back. We got one more pick anyway, so.
Right.
I feel like 1, 2, or 5 are probably my picks for that last pick if they're still remaining. There's one other guy that's interesting, but I think he gets taken before he comes back. I'll throw him in there anyways.
Okay.
He's more like a fun last pick just with upside. If we wanted to go with this position, I just threw another one in the six spot. Threw another couple anyways.
Okay. Yep. Oh, I like 7.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Yeah, that's I think that's an interesting pick.
He's a guy I take often as my last pick.
Do you? I like that.
Yeah. Because you got to think they're thrown from behind, which is another reason I like the guy we took earlier.
Yep. All right. So Tucker Kraft went.
Yeah, that's a guy I was hoping. I was thinking we'd take. We were deciding for those that are still following, still watching after 19 rounds. We were basically debating between Tucker and Knox. We went Knox just because, I mean, they could both, they could both produce in a game. And if not, you got to think if one doesn't, the other one does.
Yep, that's exactly the thought process I was going with. It's kind of, you've got the yin and the yang on one team, and then Hawkinson, to eventually come online, and he should be, online and producing by week 12. So, we don't have to do anything at tight end anymore, but we still could. Oh, here's another one I'm going to throw on there. I threw a couple of other ideas on. 7 and 8. Yep.
Leave it to Cody to take a guy I don't even know. Who's Devon Vele?
Devon Vele. Oh, he's he's the guy who's keeping Troy Franklin on the bench in Denver.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was actually drafted in, I think, like the 6th round of the NFL draft.
All right.
But yeah, he flew way under the radar.
Way
under the radar.
Yeah, see, you learn something even every draft, even though you've been drafting since February. That last one you put in was kind of my last resort sneaky one to throw in there. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm very surprised that Dwayne. All right, I'll answer it after. I'm surprised he didn't take 4.
Number 4?
Yeah, in our queue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because, I mean.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Pretty thin there.
Yeah, he's a little thin. He's definitely counting on Mark Andrews to stay healthy. His only other tight end is Michael Meyer. But again, Meyer, I don't think is a bad pick.
No, he's similar to Knox to me.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. All right.
I mean, number one's still there.
Telling you. The shine wore off that real quick. I was seeing guys take him in like the 15th, 16th round, 14th round, and all of a sudden now he's...
No, we know one of those guys.
Yes, we do.
I was in a draft with him, and I was like, where the hell's this guy? I can't see him. And I was like, that's why. They already took him.
All right. So what position do you think we should go with here?
Hold on, let me look at our board really quick. We could go either position 2 or 4, I feel like.
Oh, you know what? I realized I totally forgot to throw in an ad too.
Oh, well. And the throw it at the end if you want before it.
Yeah. Before we sign out, but yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble.
They can always add it to the pod if they put it in a pod.
100%.
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking either 4 or 8, or are you thinking like 6?
I think I think I would go with 8 or 6.
Yeah.
And I'm fine either way. You could even go with 2.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. He's got quite a bit of upside.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's got a lot of upside right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That might be the play.
You want to just do that?
Let's do that, man. Because 8, as much as like, is he even going to play this year?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Right?
Yep.
Do it. Take Jermaine.
Jermaine Burton, welcome to the team.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Chase, not necessarily practicing right now and all that. I feel like he's going to be on the field when it starts, but
yeah,
still that offense
for sure.
And then just to close off, this is one of your moves, taking the 2 number 3 receivers on a good offense and hoping one of them hits, right?
Yep, that's exactly one of my moves, no doubt about it. So I've been doing that one for years. All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna play. We're gonna pay some bills, and then we'll come back and review the team.
Sounds good.
Hey, why do we partner with the FFPC? Because they have the widest variety of fantasy football formats, and it's the easiest place to find all types of fantasy football contests in the world. What if you want to play for high stakes? Well, they have a $6 million prize pool with their Fantasy Players Championship. They also have way too early best ball leagues that start in February and Dynasty leagues. They have the closest thing to a liquid market for orphans that there is in all of Dynasty. And the FFPC has sponsored us for half a decade because we are actually delivering information that can help fantasy gamers, and they're generating so much interest and bringing in so many new users, casual users even. The FFPC creates a unique experience where you can both compete against the best and make money. Use promo code UNDERWORLD to get $25 off your first team. $25 off your first team at the FFPC with promo code UNDERWORLD. Go get it!
All right, and we are back. And so JD, let's look through this team. At quarterback, I think what I'll do is I'll instead of reading them off by round, I'll read off by position.
Yeah.
Quarterback, we have Josh Allen taken in the 1st, Caleb Williams in the 3rd, Sam Darnold in the 8th. And again, this is a Rotoviz Triflex, so you can have a quarterback in the flex spot. Then at running back, we have Joe Mixon taken in the 6th, Devin Singletary in the 12th, Blake Corum in the 13th, Ty Chandler in the 14th, Bucky Irving in the 15th, and Cam Akers in the 19th. Then at wide receiver, in the 4th round, Deebo Samuel, 5th round, Devontae Adams. 7th round, Stephon Diggs. 9th round, Rome Odunze. 11th round, Khalil Shakir. 16th round, Andre Yoshivas. 17th round, Malik Washington. And 20th round, Jermaine Burton. So after starting out with like 3 crusty wide receivers, it got very young, very fast. So I like how we did that, a little mix of old and young. Then at tight end, we have Dalton Kincaid, TJ Hawkinson, and Dawson Knox. So I feel real good, except for week 12. If some reason TJ Hawkinson re-injures himself, but we could handle a week without a tight end. So that is the team. Thoughts on the team, JD?
No, I like it, man. It's you know, like we've mentioned a few times with the triflex, 3 receivers starting. There's so many ways you can go. We're playing against a seriously sharp room. I mean, there's nobody in this room that's necessarily the rake, as we say in the poker world. So I think starting off with Allen and Caleb with Kincaid is very strong. Darnold, again, we both like it probably more than most, I think, in fantasy right now. Hawkinson, like we said, a lot is going to depend on Hawkinson, but when you build these teams, you're telling a story. And I used to say this often on the show, and your story is basically like the optimal result of the guys you pick. And to us, we're thinking Hawkinson comes back earlier than later. And he is kind of our second stud. So it's like as if we drafted a guy in the 6th or 7th at that position, just we got him 2 or 3 rounds later. So a lot will depend on that, I think, and on Knox filling in on any weeks where Kincaid is not producing. But again, let's say Kincaid, for knock on wood, misses a game or 2, we've locked that up, and we've seen Knox put up good numbers as he fills in, and even before Kincaid, he was decent on especially in the red zone. So I like that. And then the running back position, as you see across the board here, it falls. You got a couple guys who went early, contrarian, but Mixon as an anchor, hero RB build. And then we just loaded up with different types of running backs. And that's what you got to do. You got a consistent Singletary, and then some upside guys that we think can, not only come in if there's injury, but they'll probably have a role to start the season as well. So I think we've got a nice build. We've got some good stacks. There are some teams, that have been really clever with their builds and have done. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who comes out. That's what's nice about this tourney is with this invitational is it's every single division is loaded. So you're going to need a lot of luck, as we mentioned, as you normally do in these best balls. So hopefully luck falls our way and we can at least get ourselves a Fantasy Pros entry, if not a main, out of this.
Yep, exactly. All right, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed having you back on, JD. JD and I have been drafting together all off season. So we've managed to stay very tight and everything. But just getting you in front of a mic again has been a lot of fun for me. Feels like old times. And I'm just going to go ahead and blame you for not running that ad, because that used to be your job instead of mine.
I'll take the blame, man. I'll take the blame. And hey, I love drafting with you, whether it's live or slow. We've been very successful together as a team, especially in the FFPC, whether it's Dynasty, Best Ball, or Redraft. Hopefully this year we can bank a big one. And thanks for inviting me. This was a pleasure, man. It's always a blast. And it was nice to let you host for once. Let you drive the car while I get to sit back a bit.
Take the pressure off. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So thanks again to all our listeners. Make sure that you hit that like button and, check us out next week. I'm going to be back with the Fantasy Empire, and we're going to be doing a show on Monday morning. So Labor Day morning, and we're going to review some of what went on in the NFFC in their New York events, and talk a little bit more about how you can build your own fantasy empire. So make sure you check that out as well. And for JD, this is Dan, the Overhyped Sleeper, and we are out of here.